Hey, what is going on, guys? My name is Slcmof and I'm back again with another video, and in this one I've got an interesting theory for you that I saw recently. I did not come up with this, and I don't necessarily, I wouldn't bet money on it per se, because the leak that I saw and the leak that has been going around and the information there suggests that the game in development at NetherRealm Studios that is going to be revealed later this week, as in before E3, according to the article, is an Injustice 2 game. It is a straight-up DC Comics Injustice game. To me, this is ideal because I'm not familiar with Mortal Kombat. However, there have been some talks going around that this game in development is a Mortal Kombat and DC Comics crossover game, much like the Mortal Kombat vs. DC Universe game that I remember playing many years ago and actually really enjoying. But one thing I do remember about that game is that I would never play as the Mortal Kombat characters because I didn't know any of them. I would just play as the Joker every time. I actually specifically remember that. Okay, so that is a concern for the title as well. Is there any evidence that supports this theory? Well, not concrete evidence, but what there is kind of de facto evidence, as we'll call it. And Ed Boon, who is the creative director, professional troll at NetherRealm Studios and game director, whatever you want to call him, basically, he has changed his profile picture, as many of you know, I'm sure, to the Roman numeral 2 that can also be interpreted as 11, and he likes to troll us and remind, yes, 2 or 11 indeed. Essentially what he's teasing here is that we all know as fans, or you know, people that are familiar with NetherRealm Studios know their upcoming game announcement. It's about that time. Every 2 years around this time, I believe, is when they usually announce their game. With that being said, there is some speculation as to what they will announce, and Ed Boon, trying to troll and build hype for this upcoming title, he is trying to tease as to whether or not the title will be Mortal Kombat 11, of course the 10th one is out currently, or Injustice 2, thus the Roman numeral 2, which can also be interpreted to be 11, thus the kind of double entendre, double meaning of that profile picture, which is intentionally ambiguous. Where the controversy comes in is that if you think about it, this AVI actually represents the DC Universe vs. Mortal Kombat second title. But shall we consider this for just a moment? What if Ed Boon's AVI is actually teasing the second installment into the Mortal Kombat vs. DC Universe series? And if you think about it, this AVI, if this is true, and this does represent the DC Universe vs. Mortal Kombat game, the AVI actually represents all three franchises. So if you think about it, the DC Universe vs. Mortal Kombat game would be the 11th Mortal Kombat game, if you think about it in that way. It's not a Mortal Kombat standalone, but it is a Mortal Kombat game, right? It would also be the second Injustice game. It would be the second game featuring DC Comics characters, and also it would be the second DC Universe vs. Mortal Kombat game. So think about it. The 11, it's the 11 interpretation of his AVI. It's the 11th Mortal Kombat game. It's the second Injustice game, and it's also the second DC Universe vs. Mortal Kombat game, thus represented by the 2 Roman numeral in his AVI. That's kind of insane to think about if you think about it in that way, and it would be a massive curveball, because what are we all expecting on the internet, and this is exactly the way that maybe he set it up and wanted it to be this way, is that you're either on Team MK11 or you're on Team Injustice 2. You either want the game to be Injustice 2, you either think the game's going to be Injustice 2, or you think it's going to be Mortal Kombat 11. Now, one thing I'll tell you straight away is that there's very little chance this game is Mortal Kombat 11. I think the game sold okay, but they just released a DLC for it, I think, a little bit ago, and I just don't think it's going to happen, especially with the fact that you have Justice League and the DCEU ramping up in 2017, and WB clearly expanding upon their DC games lineup. I think it's definitely between either Injustice 2 or DC Universe vs. Mortal Kombat. And if you think about it, the DC Universe vs. Mortal Kombat one, from a business sense, would make the most sense. Although the first game was not critically loved or anything like that, it has decent reviews, and a lot of fans did enjoy that game. What I will say is that it would make a lot of sense because of the fact, if you consider this, if this game is Mortal Kombat 11, I know for a fact, whether you like it or not, I know that, you know, whether you admit it or not, a lot of you are not going to care if it's Mortal Kombat 11. You will say, oh, I'm disappointed that it's not Injustice, I don't care anymore. That's the same thing with Mortal Kombat fans. If they learn that this game is Injustice 2, they'll say, I could care less about DC. I'm not interested in this game. I'm just going to keep playing Mortal Kombat X. With that being said, if you combine both franchises, everybody watching this video is buying this game, and all the Mortal Kombat fans are buying it too. That's just the reality of it, and I guarantee you, DC Comics vs. Mortal Kombat would likely sell more than a Mortal Kombat game standalone. I almost guarantee it, because of the fact that you're bringing in the Joker, you're bringing in Batman, you're bringing in all these big selling characters that drive profit, and that's just kind of a possibility to consider. Now, again, the leak suggests Injustice 2. It does not specify anything about Mortal Kombat, and of course you saw, well, again, I can't even name the character. There's a Mortal Kombat character in Injustice, the first one, whatever, I think like the main one that's on the box art, whatever. So I'm not saying that, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about a full-blown Mortal Kombat vs. DC Universe game is a possibility in my mind as a theory. This is just a theory. Again, the league suggests Injustice 2. So the question of this video is, what do you want? As a fan, what do you want? Do you want a crossover title like the one released a few years ago? Do you want a straight-up Injustice game? Or do you want another Mortal Kombat game? I would find that to be a very slim number of people on this channel in particular, but you'd be surprised. There are a lot of huge Mortal Kombat fans that are going to be very upset if this game is Injustice 2. I would imagine, maybe, I don't know. Anyway, all I know is that I want the game to be Injustice 2 as a fan, because again, I'm not familiar with the Mortal Kombat universe, and it's not that I don't care, I'm just not familiar with it. I don't know any. I've never played a Mortal Kombat game before. The only Mortal Kombat game that I've played is the Mortal Kombat game with DC Comics in it. That just goes to show you the power of all these DC characters in terms of a profitability and a marketing sense. So that's what I think. I think the game is between Injustice 2 or DC vs. Mortal Kombat Universe 2. So I'd love to know your thoughts. Which one you would prefer, and also which one you think is gonna, two separate questions there. So let me know what you thought about this video and the questions that I posed in the comment section below, and we'll see you in the next one.